Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, aka Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. And when I tell you my worlds are colliding, I mean, it couldn't get better than this, because on last night's Watch What Happens Live, a new feud ignited between Kyle Cooke from Summer House, Craig Conover from Southern Charm, and my girls Claudia and Jackie from The Toast. And it all started with Craig's investment in their canned cocktail, Spritz, which I guess Kyle is not too happy about, and he is calling Craig out. But we have new information coming out, as well as some interesting receipts that the Toast Girls brought up on today's podcast that are kind of telling a different story. So I'm going to get into everything you need to know about this new shocking feud. But before I dive in, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. Okay, so Kyle was on last night's Watch What Happens Live, and Andy was just doing his thing. He basically asked him a fan question. Is there any bad blood between you and Craig since he invested in a direct competitor of Loverboy? Now, the conversation starts out pretty light. It doesn't really seem like Kyle is too fazed by this.
There's really no bad blood because I think this is being blown out of proportion.
He says there is really no bad blood. He thinks everything has been blown out of proportion because, in case you missed it, ever since it was announced that Craig did invest in the canned cocktail Spritz, there have been all these articles going around about why Craig chose to do Spritz instead of Loverboy. Now, in case you guys didn't know, Spritz is co-founded by the girls from The Toast. So Claudia Oshry and Jackie Oshry, they are sisters, as well as Claudia's husband, Ben Soffer. They asked Craig to not only be an ambassador for Spritz, but also invest in the company. However, on Watch What Happens Live, the conversation kind of takes a turn for the worst. Kyle starts to say that he doesn't even think there was actually an investment.
I don't really think there was an investment,
which the Toast Girls disprove as wrong. He also says he wishes him the best, but he does not think it was handled in the right way.
I wish him the best, but it was the way he handled it, and we don't have time to get into it, what really rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm just trying to take the high road.
He is trying to take the high road, but he said that Craig has a reputation of lying, and that's exactly what he did here.
I mean, I have to say, you actually look upset.
Well, look, he has a reputation of lying, and he lied to me.
Now, of course, this kind of left me shook because the beginning of this conversation, he said there was no bad blood between them. Everything was good after this investment. But Kyle doubled down on the after show, and he kind of had a lot to say after Andy asked him about it again.
I do just want to follow up on this as much as you're willing to talk about it.
Kyle shared that the founder of Loverboy, Ben Soffer, took Kyle out to dinner just days before they did the deal and accuses him of milking information from Kyle and says this is a really shady operation.
I mean, the founder, took me out to dinner days before they inked the deal and failed to mention any of that and milked information from me. Really shady operation.
He also doubles down on the fact that Craig is a liar, and he's saying that Craig was acting like he thought that Loverboy was just a sparkling hard tea company. He did not know that they did other products, including Spritz.
And I'm like, bro, we launched our Spritz line a year and a half before this company.
Okay.
But Kyle explains that they launched the espresso martini while they were on Winter House together. So of course, Craig knew that there were other products in the Loverboy line besides the Spritz.
He knows we don't just do teas. Like, he was there. He's had all these products.
Right.
So don't tell me you thought we were just a tea company.
He goes after Craig again, saying, if anything, the company you just invested in took a page out of our book and launched a copycat a year later. Now, this took a downhill turn really quick, seeing as, like I said, the conversation began with him saying there is no bad blood, but it definitely seems like he is not happy with Craig's decision. He is accusing him of lying, and he is accusing this other company, Spritz, of being a copycat brand, a cheater brand, if you will, even though they're not really direct competitors. So, of course, as a Toast fan, I had to listen to the podcast as soon as I woke up this morning because I needed to know what Jackie and Claudia thought of this entire situation. And they spilled all the tea on their podcast. If you haven't listened, go over to today's episode of The Toast. It is titled Craig20. Yes, the promo code for Spritz, because they are dishing all of the info and kind of coming at Kyle in the process.
He went on Watch What Happens Live and slung some pretty serious accusations. And I just want to give, because I have all the facts. I have all the dates, I have all the timestamps, and I have the receipts.
So first of all, they explained that Loverboy is solely owned by Kyle. Kyle does not use investors in his company. He has no investors. He takes out personal loans to invest in his company. So when he's talking about taking out a $4 million loan, that's not an investment. That is a loan that he is taking out from the bank, and he remains 100% owner of the company. Meanwhile, they share that Spritz has a ton of investors. They have, taken money from a lot of different investors. And when they choose to work with a personality or celebrity or an influencer, they do give them a stake in the company. So Craig is not only an ambassador for Spritz, but he also has a stake in the company. And this is where they kind of shade Loverboy, because they're kind of throwing out the fact that basically the entire Summer House cast is promoting this drink for free. None of them are getting paid to drink or promote Loverboy on the show, outside of the show, but it is basically everywhere you look. So they're saying that they actually, incentivize the people that work with them and the influencers that promote their product by giving them a stake in the company. They also share that, after they had spoken to Craig and Craig showed interest in Spritz, he actually went to Kyle and was like, look, man, if there is an opportunity for me to invest in Loverboy, I will not do this other deal. I like Loverboy. They're obviously friends. Paige and Amanda are BFFs. So it would make sense. I think Craig was looking for a cocktail company to invest in. But Kyle said no, there wasn't an opportunity for an investment. So he kind of shut him down. So that left Craig to go through with the deal with Spritz and Ben and Claudia. She also clears up everything that went down at that dinner between Ben and Kyle. Kyle said that they were taking information from him from this dinner that they had just a few nights before they signed the deal with Craig. She says that's not true. The dinner was actually weeks before they signed the deal with Craig. And it was basically just an innocent dinner. Of course, they maybe talked business, but it almost seems like they bonded over having, kind of a common business, being in a common industry. And there was no way that there was any sort of information that was taken or used against their will. She also shares that Kyle has even ordered Spritz off of their website. She has his order, she has his receipt, she has his address, and it kind of seems like, maybe he wants to see what they're all about. I don't know about you, but I am fully invested in this feud. I mean, when I saw that Craig did invest in Spritz, I did think it was a little weird seeing as how close they are with Kyle and Amanda. But I thought, hey, there are so many cocktail companies. Surely it's not going to be a conflict of interest. Everything is going to be cool. But it definitely seems like there are some hard feelings between Kyle and Craig. Now, does Craig feel the same way? I don't know. I am super interested to hear Craig's point of view. I am so glad that the Toast Girls did confront this head on the podcast. And I have a feeling that this is not the end of this feud. I need to see it play out. I want to see Craig's response. I want to know if the Spritz team is also going to respond and what they're going to say. Is Kyle also going to come back at Claudia and Jackie for what they said on the podcast today? It will be very interesting to see this play out. I am super invested, and I think this calls for a little taste test. So this weekend, I'm going to be filming a taste test between Loverboy and Spritz to find out which one really is the better Spritz canned cocktail. Make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss it, and tune in for more Bravo Breaking News.